good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Namaskar to everyone. Secretary sir is now here. So just the right time to welcome everyone, particularly Secretary Alok sir, and all our distinguished guests, partners from various agencies. We also have Veena Reddy, Mission Director, USAID India, who has joined in. So without much ado, I know it's very difficult for people to take out time in this virtual scenario. I wish we had actually planned this as a physical event, but for the pandemic wave. But at least all of us have joined in to celebrate the success and learnings that have emerged from USAID's 4-year bilateral program with the Ministry of Power called the Integration and Transformation for Energy Efficiency, which we fondly call as MATRI, which in its true name spirit has worked collaboratively with a number of partners from public sector, private sector, and international organizations. So without much further ado, let me also introduce myself. My name is Apurva Chaturvedi. I work as a senior clean energy specialist with USAID India with John and Veena. May I now invite John to welcome everyone and set the tone for today's event. So John is just arrived in India last year. He's a senior foreign service officer with the US government and has extensive experience of working in Asia in several countries in USAID missions, and is not new to new energy sector, having been posted in India in the energy section many years back. So John, over to you.
Thanks very much, Purva and Sri Alok Kumar, Secretary of Power. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining. This is Veena Reddy, USAID Mission Director, India. Mr. Arun Kumar Mishra, CEO, Energy Efficiency Service Limited. Mr. Atul Bali, Chief General Manager, National Smart Grid Mission. Mr. N. Janaya, Vice Chair and Managing Director, Telangana State Renewable Energy Development Corporation. Professor Sunaina Singh, Vice Chancellor, Nalanda University. Mr. Fareed Yakar, Head Sustainable Public Procurement from UNDP. Mr. Ashke Tripathi, Vice Chair, Lucknow Development Authority. Mr. V. Suresh, Chairman, Indian Green Building Council. Good afternoon, namaste to all of the distinguished participants gathered here today. And thank you to everyone for joining this ZerO-In Conclave, focusing on energy efficiency market transformation towards net zero emissions. And I particularly want to thank Tanmay Tathagat and our colleagues from EDS for organizing this event, and more particularly for 4 good years of partnership with the individuals and the organizations represented here today under MAITREE, USAID's Market Integration and Transformation for Energy Efficiency. These partners with MAITREE include the Ministry of Power, ESL, National Smart Grid Mission, Telangana State Redco, Nalanda University, UNEP, Lucknow Development Authority, the Indian Green Building Council, and many, many more. Though we bid farewell to USAID's MAITREE, we will transition much of the good work and much of the expertise over to our new activity known as USAID South Asia Regional Energy Partnership, SARUP. As you will hear today, we have accomplished a great deal under MAITREE, and all of you should feel pleased and proud of all of these many accomplishments with respect to policy and technology and business model and awareness and cooperation and consumer behavior. And of course, we will continue to contribute to a net zero paradigm in India and throughout the Indo-Pacific, including with today's discussion of net zero cities, the dialogue which will form the second part of this gathering today. So once more, I thank you for the opportunity to partner with all of you, and I welcome you again, the participants to today's discussions. Apurva, back to you.
Thanks, John. Thank you for setting that context. I would now like to invite Veena Reddy, the Mission Director for USAID India as well as Bhutan, to deliver the opening address. Veena Reddy is also a career member of the Syrian Foreign Service. She just arrived in the New Delhi Post last August to lead USAID India. But before this, she was USAID's Mission Director in Cambodia. She brings in a wealth of international experience and has been in regional roles in Central Asia and Central America. She is by profession a lawyer and attorney, and she worked as a corporate attorney before her USAID stint. Over to you, Veena.
Thank you. Namaskaram. Apurva, John, thank you for that introduction, and greetings to Secretary Kumar, Director Tanmay Tathagat, as well as all of the partners and other, the long list that John recited, which I won't do again, but please know that we are so pleased to have worked with you. On behalf of the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, I'm delighted to welcome you to this event, celebrating the achievements made over the course of 4 years by a joint program of USAID and the Ministry of Power, as we said, the Market Integration and Transformation for Energy, MAITREE. And thanks to the hard work of our partners, MAITREE's work has been instrumental in accelerating India's energy efficiency market transformation. The US-India clean energy relationship has yielded some great successes, and USAID is very proud to have supported India's use of affordable clean energy, new technologies and practices to mitigate climate change, and the flow of capital towards climate positive investments. We believe that these efforts will lead to great dividends for a healthier future for everyone. Even prior to MAITREE, USAID had long partnered with the Ministry of Power, collaborating on initiatives that span the electricity value chain from generation to transmission and distribution. Incorporating energy efficiency programs has been a cornerstone in ensuring the success of resilient and sustainable power generation, in addition to efficient building operations in India. Thanks to the hard work and dedication of many of you gathered here today, we're proud to see that energy efficient practices have become mainstream in India, serving as an example for the world to follow. USAID is proud to have been a partner in India's green building movement since the beginning, supporting the formation of the Indian Green Building Council in partnership with Confederation of Indian Industries and the US Green Building Council more than 20 years ago. Impressively, today, India ranks in the top 3 countries in the world for its number of certified green buildings. Under the MAITREE program, our energy efficiency collaboration has only intensified, creating models which have been scaled up by the government and private sector, not only in India, but with possibilities for use across the globe. As we celebrate the program's successes today, I'll share just 3 examples of how this partnership has helped to expand India's energy efficiency market. First, MAITREE has been at the forefront in developing guidelines for green and energy efficient housing under Prime Minister Modi's flagship program, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, PMAI. This collaboration led to the construction of 12,000 green homes in Lucknow, for example, and supporting the PMAI program's goal of constructing 30 million energy efficient and affordable homes in India. Second, MAITREE partnered with India's Bureau of Energy Efficiency to build upon our prior collaboration on India's first codes for energy efficient buildings by updating and launching revised regulations and monitoring using technology as state levels. We're proud to see the implementation of these codes across India, contributing to the first world-class net zero energy facilities in India, including Nalanda University in Bihar and the Telangana State Renewable Energy Development Corporation, models which are being scaled by others. And third, through MAITREE, USAID partnered with the world's largest public energy services company, Energy Efficiency Services Limited, on a number of clean and renewable energy initiatives, such as retrofitting more than 11,000 buildings for energy efficiency, including public facilities such as airports, railways, and metros. I was privileged, in fact, to see some of these efficiency utilized at Delhi Cantonment Railway Station, where the pride of the managers was evident as they contributed in their knowledge that they contributed to a cleaner and more energy stable India. This effort also stimulated innovations coming to market, such as more energy efficient air conditioners and other products used throughout India. So these are just a few of the many examples of the successes through the MAITREE program, and I know we'll hear about many more during this event. These successes will be long felt in India's energy sector, and we're excited to continue to partner with India as we look also beyond India's borders. The recently announced South Asian Regional Energy Partnership, known as ZerO-In, is a 5-year, $49 million initiative, which will facilitate collaboration amongst Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, the Maldives, Nepal, and Sri Lanka to improve access to affordable, reliable, and sustainable energy. I'm very glad to note that the initiatives led by MAITREE will continue through ZerO-In, taking many of the best practices and lessons learned and applying them across the South Asia region. Thank you to our implementing partner, Environmental Design Solutions, and MAITREE's many partners for your commitment to this important initiative. USAID looks forward to continued partnership with India to reduce emissions, increase investments and innovations in clean energy, and enhance cross-border energy markets. Thank you very much. Dhanyavad. And congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, Veena. Thank you for highlighting the US-India Clean Energy Partnership with the Ministry of Power and many of our partners, and also highlighting some of the many achievements of MATRI. With that, now we have the honor and the privilege of having Secretary Power Shri Alok Kumar ji at this event. And I know he has readjusted his very, very tight schedule to accommodate our request to be here. Sir, I have had the privilege of being part of many meetings that you have chaired, where your vision and leadership and passion for newer advanced technologies, newer business models, newer ways of working for a clean energy transition is something I've witnessed at very close hands. Of course, you need no introduction, sir, but for the benefit of our international audience, Shri Alok Kumar is an Indian Administrative Service Officer of the Uttar Pradesh cadre. He has a wide experience and expertise in policy and regulatory affairs of many sectors, but particularly India's electricity sector. He's also worked in the other sectors like industry, IT, and electronics and transport, but has championed many policy and regulatory reforms in the power sector and has even authored a book on policy and regulation of electricity industry in India. Sir, may I have the honor of you delivering the keynote address?
Thank you, Apurva, and Mr. John Smith and Veena ji. It's really a pleasure for me to speak on the occasion of your final event of US-India bilateral MATRI program. I was looking at the brochure and the information for this program. The lot of commendable work has been done under this program, I think, which you will like to also present during the subsequent sessions of this program, and especially in the energy efficiency domain, the energy efficiency buildings and appliances. And you have been assisting our Bureau of Energy Efficiency and other states also, the wonderful programs. See, the energy transition is now the most talked about topic or area whenever we sit together in any economic forum, any public discussion, or more so, no discussion in the energy sector, energy family can start without talking of energy transition. And it has really taken a center stage. And very recently in COP26, all the world leaders, they gathered and everybody presented their best efforts that how they will be contributing to a cleaner planet, more sustainable planet we are living on. Our Honorable Prime Minister has also announced a very ambitious program for India's energy transition, and this is a new challenge for us, for all of us in the energy sector, and including mostly the power sector. So we have been given this target of 500 gigawatt of non-fossil fuel based electricity generation capacity by 2030. And the other important ambitious is that by reducing our emission intensity by 45% with respect to 2005 levels. Earlier it was 33%. So these are very, very steep and ambitious targets. But we are all committed here in Government of India, and we really value our development partners. And the cooperation under USAID is one of the most important cooperation we had. We value all the cooperation we are having, and say this, we are moving away now, moving from MATRI to other new program. And if I've understood, it's earlier MATRI was a bilateral. Now you are moving to a sub-regional program now, I think so. So that is, I think, the new format. But I'm very sure that the common areas of interest, whatever we decide mutually and our leaders will decide, we will continue to work and we will strengthen our cooperation. And say energy transition is a very huge task, and it encompasses all sectors, not only power but in transport, buildings, municipal, agriculture, say you name it, and industry and MSMEs and all. So it's a huge task, both demand side, supply side, new technologies, and there is a lot of requirement for adoption of new technologies, capacity building, and the cooperation what we had and what we are going to have mainly will still focus on the aspects of technology adoption. So new technologies will come and how to adopt them in our utilities, in our systems, and capacity building. Because say the energy transition will be supported largely by new technologies. We are talking of now deepening of the storage technologies in India's energy system. We are talking of say new technology for renewable generation, offshore winds and all. So this will all require more and more efforts for technology adoption and capacity building at different levels. Talking of India's energy transition, which is very, very important program for us, largely in the energy sector, half the effort will come from the deeper penetration of renewable energy. So that will require supplementing the efforts of our other Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. But for Power Ministry, it will require two big challenges. First, to see that our transmission system, it gets strengthened and augmented timely to support all the new renewable generation. Second big task will be to handle the flexibility in the system. So as we have say very large share of intermittent power, the challenges before all of us in the power sector will be how to keep the power supplying going reliably 24/7. So that will be the major challenge. All of us will have to work for that. And to meet that, we are now very seriously working on coming out with a new storage policy, which will have several options of battery storage, pumped storage, hydro projects, and also some new technology for storage like phase change and other possible emerging new technologies. Adoption of those new technologies will also require tweaking our electricity markets, the various incentives, tariff incentives, and also the regulatory framework. So there is a huge task before us to absorb that large amount of renewable energy, which is the major component, most important component of non-fossil based electricity generation in India. The other half of the contribution for reduction of the avoiding that 1 billion ton of carbon dioxide, reducing our emission intensity, will come from energy efficiency efforts. This morning only we had this meeting of Governing Council of Bureau of Energy Efficiency. We had a long presentation was given to our Honorable Minister of Power. He chairs this Governing Council, and we discuss in detail what all is required to be done in different segments of energy efficiency. And it emerges that the most important sectors will be like the heavy industry and transport. So they are the one who are contributing mostly to the emissions currently. And the emerging new sectors are the MSME. They need a lot of hand holding, lot of capacity building, demonstration of technologies. So these areas will emerge, and we will continue to work, and we will value continued support of USAID in taking forward India's energy transition journey, which we are committed to deliver. Talking of technologies, about from storage, I have spoken a little. The other important technology is the smart metering, which you must be aware. In the new scheme which Government of India has launched, most ambitious scheme, the RDSS, which is a revamped distribution sector scheme, half of the scheme outlay is being devoted to smart metering. And smart metering is not only for the consumers, but also smart metering the whole system, smart metering of the distribution transformers and feeders. So we see the successful rollout of smart metering will be key to improving the efficiencies of our distribution utilities and also to make them future ready. So, and smart metering, we have been now preparing for this rollout in the last 6 months. The guidelines of this new scheme were announced in July, and we are now in the January. So last 6 months we have come out with the standard bidding document and how to engage consumers and how to take care of the supply chains. There's so many issues are coming up. So a smart metering rollout will be in itself a very big project, and we have been getting, say, support assistance from USAID in its implementation. And I will still flag it as one of the most important area for cooperation in the power sector in the coming 2-3 years, because this rollout will be a game changer for power sector. But its rollout is going to be very, very challenging, and it will need efforts and cooperation assistance of all concerned. Another area which is related to smart metering is the true, fair, and dependable energy accounting by distribution utilities. Say, we have come out with a new regulations by Bureau of Energy Efficiency under Energy Conservation Act, which mandates a periodic, quarterly, and annual energy accounting and energy audit by DISCOMs. It's a huge task, so it will need a lot of hand holding and the capacity building by DISCOMs. So apart from smart metering rollout, I will also flag this one area which we will like to work together with USAID for say to handhold to build capacity of the DISCOMs to undertake the comprehensive energy accounting and energy auditing under the new regulations. Not only to do the energy accounting and energy say auditing, but also how to make use of it. So here comes the new initiative which I had spoken yesterday also. We are now going to launch a challenge to the technology service companies and startups to devise solutions based on artificial intelligence and machine learning for how to use the data which will be thrown up by the smart metering and by this energy accounting for various important purposes. One, of course, is the identifying the high loss pockets, then network planning, but then also demand side management, because a smart meter will also enable us for time of use tariffs. So our utilities will need a lot of hand holding, lot of capacity building for making use of these data, which will be coming out of this initiatives from artificial intelligence and machine learning. So this is another area. One third area which I would like to flag, I had a presentation last week that there is a huge potential of energy saving if we promote energy efficient ceiling fans. This is one appliance which is used by almost 90% households after the electricity lighting. So after the LED, there is a huge potential for designing a national program for promoting super energy efficient ceiling fans. It has some challenges because the energy consumption is low and the payback period is quite long. It's 7 to 8 years. So we need to see that how best we can design this program by reducing cost through aggregation of demand and bulk procurement, maybe giving even some tax incentives for limited time in terms of GST, and other things. So this is another area which is very, very important. The next area which I would like to flag is the development of our vendors and our system integrators for smart metering. Say smart metering, we work for utilities is one thing, but we will require huge manpower, not only for installing smart meters, also their maintenance, and say these will be like field teams who will deploy on the ground, but also our IT professionals. There are a lot of IT professionals on the side, on the discom side, a lot of IT professionals on the service provider side. So this is one area where we will have to work very closely with our industry. We also intend to promote Make in India for smart metering, because when we are going to procure maybe around say 250 million smart meters in next 4-5 years, so we will be say working with the objective that the benefit of this program should also come largely to the Indian people in terms of the local manufacturing and the local socio-economic growth. So the list is very long. I can say list is very long, but based on the success we had in the MATRI program, which you are having the final event today, I'm very sure that we will continue to engage more and more with USAID under your new program, which format is sub-regional, for addressing some of these priorities and many more priorities which will emerge as we undertake the journey of energy transition of India. We will always have new needs where we will have to say we will be very happy to cooperate. And energy transition as it's emerging, India and US, they are very close partners. Even in COP26 also, and our leaders have met our honorable Prime Minister and the US President. So I always believe that going forward also, India and US will have very close, very strong cooperation, bilateral also, regional also, multilateral also, in taking forward energy transition. And India has been leading energy transition efforts across the globe. India will continue to do so, and while doing so, we will require the assistance, very valuable assistance and facilitation by USAID. And I once again convey my best wishes to MATRI program. Congratulations to what all great job they have done, and I strongly believe that this cooperation will be further strengthened. We will further take it forward. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insights and for actually highlighting the key priorities that ministry is looking at from a clean transition perspective. And sir, very nicely you put up some of the areas that you highlighted, whether it was the smart meter rollout and all the work that has gone behind it and will go with it, is something that we are already supporting the ministry on, and we will continue to do that under the new SARE program as well, where we are going to work with a couple of states to actually take it from a pre-installation to a post-installation phase of smart meters. And as you rightly said, using artificial intelligence and machine learning for the big data that's going to emerge out. We are not only going to do a couple of proof of concepts for that with the Ministry of Power, PFC, and REC, but also, as you rightly point out, training would be a very key, aspect of this, with right from the technicians level to the senior mid IT cadre, and up to all the levels of smart meter deployment. We are already doing that with the various training institutions of the Ministry of Power, the Power Sector Skill Council, the NPTI, PFC, and all. So all that work is already part of our new engagement, regional engagement. But sir, even though it's a regional program, India stands out as the largest country, and the learnings that would emerge from the work in the electricity sector or the clean energy transition, as you said, India is already leading those efforts, would be very useful to the South Asian countries, which are really looking at India with very eager eyes. And this program perhaps would support, India's leadership in the region. So thank you so much for your time. Very grateful to you, sir. With that, we'll move on. We have also the presence of Honorable Vice Chancellor from Nalanda University, Professor Sunaina Singh. Good afternoon, ma'am. It's a pleasure to see you again. Nalanda has been championing the net zero energy narrative in the country, not only in the country, but in the region as well, because it's a university which it's a global university under the Ministry of External Affairs. But mostly Professor Singh, she is a member designate of several distinguished national and international academic committees. She has spearheaded Nalanda not only from a pedagogical or administrative system, but also from setting this whole discussion and promotion of the first net zero energy, water, waste, and carbon footprint campus in the country. Professor Singh, if you could, we could just launch a kind of a brochure that Nalanda has, and we've supported Nalanda in their net zero journey. If we could just play that, inaugurate or sort of release that brochure before I will request you to, So, ma'am, may I request you to kindly address the all the audience?
Thank you, Apurva, and thanks to Tanmay for playing that. Thank you, Mr. John Smith-Sreen, Alok Kumarji, Ms. Veena Reddy, Arun Kumar Mishra ji, Akshay Tripathi ji, Janaya ji, and Atul Bali, Mr. Suresh, and the team of MAITREE who have been part of Nalanda's journey as advisors and leading us forward in this journey of creating the net zero campus, the largest net zero campus with 465 acres of land and 200 structures, of which 40 hectares we have created water bodies, which is almost 100 acres of water bodies. It's a completely net zero campus, and Nalanda being on the foremost in the global intellectual landscape plays a very important role, because this has been our Vishwaguru in many, many ways. The effort with new international Nalanda is also to lay down the foundations for a completely net zero campus, be it waste management, be it energy, be it water, and the zero emissions. We have had a very successful journey, if I may say so, because past 4 years, we have been able to create about 80 to 89% of campuses almost ready, and almost all buildings are net zero. And we find, if you've seen the brochure that was just released, the architecture itself, it's based on the ancient Nalanda principles of, enabling knowledge through nature. The coexistence with nature is perhaps most important where education is concerned. And therefore, we have embraced the sustainability models of the ancient Nalanda. Now, it also means that we have created a lot of new ways of building a campus. Because when we talk about net zero, I have seen world over, there are 1 or 2 or 3 buildings with net zero in every organization. But to create 200 structures, it has been a huge challenge. That's where I acknowledge the role of MAITREE, and Tanmay has been part of our advisory team. So USAID has played a big role, where Nalanda is concerned, and we have moved forward creating sustainable development through impact innovation, where carbon neutral campus plays a very important role. We have looked at water conservation, ahar pine through the ancient methods of ahar pine, harnessing of renewable energy, blended models, waste to energy, smart grid, e-waste. We've looked at a lot of things where biodiversity and green buildings can proliferate and perhaps set an example for other institutions to come. Because where campuses are concerned, we have been very restrictive in our net zero goals. I think it's important that we set an example for other campuses to emulate, for other institutions to emulate, that it is possible to create a net zero campus in a holistic fashion. All that it requires is, how do we collaborate with our partners? How do we take advice? How do we look at new ways of working, where, be it energy metering or energy auditing, be it water conservation, what could be the other ways of doing it apart from ahar pine? Because when we created 40 hectares of water, the excavated land was used for the earth blocks, the bricks, where we again saved energy. So zero complete, zero wastage has been ensured in building the campus. If you look at our 200 structures, I wish we were showing more pictures of the campus. It would have been really worthwhile to show how we have moved forward. This is also an example of how a campus can build a sustainable goal, not just as per the UN model, but go beyond that. Because we have to ensure there is synchronization with the courses. So our ecology and environment course, our sustainable management courses, I have ensured that we also teach, we shape the psyche of the new generation and expect them to value the goals that we have for sustainability. So it is not just the campus and the buildings that are sustainable and net zero oriented, but I think our classroom, it's stepping into the classroom, into our courses. That has been my goal. That has been my leadership. So we try to synchronize and prepare our courses accordingly, so that the future leaders, the young leaders who will emerge after 10 years or 5 years of intensive research in looking at exploring new paradigms of, net zero, will be able to look at it afresh, will be able to contribute in a new way. So Nalanda is stepping forward and has made an effort, and I hope, this is truly appreciated in other energy related bodies. I noticed that our secretary Alok Kumarji has spoken so well of the roadmap for India itself. Nalanda being a global institution, we have about students from over 35 countries out here. There are 17 countries participating. Who are our members of Nalanda University, have supported the creation, and they all come. The students from these countries come to us to learn, how do we create sustainable goals? What are the net zero? What could be the net zero roadmap for future? For the next 10 years, what can be done? So the research is going to happen on that front. Thank you, Apurva. I must acknowledge both Apurva and Tanmay has done a tremendous job. MAITREE per se, and USAID has been a partner. So thank you, John, for your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, first of all, for adjusting your schedule. I know it was a last moment invite to you, and yet you kind of honored our invite. And that speaks volumes of the partnership that we've had with Nalanda and with several of our other partners. But you have walked the talk, and not only are you building a campus, which is a net zero campus of its own kind, which others will emulate, but you're also building a cadre of students who will actually imbibe that in their DNA and take it on for the future. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your presence. I know you only had this slot available, and we look forward to continuing our association with Nalanda as they keep constructing net zero and live as a net zero building. So thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So with that,
Thank you.
I will, yeah. With that, now I will invite Tanmay Tathagat, who is the Director of Environmental Design Solutions. This is the agency that is the implementing partner for the USAID MATRI program. We've had a great partnership for not only the last 4 years of MATRI, but even before that, when Tanmay and his team were associated with the PACE bilateral program. And even before that, even before I joined USAID, Tanmay was still implementing many of the USAID's energy efficiency programs. Uh, he will be giving a capsule of the journey that MATRI has undertaken in the last 4 years in terms of the impact it has made on the ground, in terms of what it has achieved and the learnings and insights in just a capsule of not more than 10 minutes and even lesser perhaps. But I have to admit it's very nostalgic for me as well, because we co-designed this program with EDS. It was, right from the inception to a stage today we are when we are fine. This is the final event. It's been a great journey full of challenges, obstacles, but not for a moment did we hang our boots. So over to you, Tanmay.
Thank you. And I think you can see my screen now. So
Yes.
thank you everyone for joining in. This has been a fantastic journey for us as well. And, we are not going to get into details of what actually we did for those 4 years, because there's just been a lot of groundwork, policy work, research. But what we want to see today is, did we achieve what we started out doing? The name of the program is Market Integration and Transformation for Energy Efficiency, MATRI, and I'm here today to share our market transformation journey. And at this point, we are looking at ourselves very critically to say, okay, what did we achieve? So MATRI's objectives were clearly to address the interlinked challenges that come when you look at buildings and cooling, and to accelerate the adoption of energy efficiency at scale through cutting edge technologies, innovative business models, and end user engagement. What is required for market transformation? You need a good enabling policy. You need good regulations that are grounded in real operations, a very integrated and flexible design of programs, pilots, institutional capacity building, and finally, engagement with your customer, your end user, your consumer. So to address this, MATRI has 3 components: energy efficiency in buildings, sustainable cooling, training, capacity building, and consumer engagement. So the question is, what transformation took place in these 4 years? Well, public building energy efficiency retrofit, it took center stage. Concept of net zero and super ECBC buildings has become real. Buildings were recognized in this period as the critical last mile of the smart grid. The concept of healthy and energy efficient buildings became mainstream. India's first net zero energy building rating took off. Scale up with private sector ESCO engagement has just started. Indian Railways adopted net zero energy standards for all new station developments. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, affordable housing, became energy efficient and green. and Lucknow adopted a green building vision and roadmap. Super efficient air conditioners became available and affordable. Chiller energy efficiency program is about to take off in a few minutes, I believe. Green room air conditioners, something new, were added to the government's e-marketplace. And what was the impact of doing all of this? So you see the impact. First phase, and as we just said, 80% of a net zero energy water waste campus has been built. TS Redco as a super ECBC and the India's first grid interactive net zero energy building is ready to, again, in a few minutes it's about to start. And emulating that, Chhattisgarh is now, the design is underway for them to do a net zero emission building for themselves. 110,000 public buildings were retrofitted for energy efficiency, including airports, metros, railway stations, and not just doing one thing at a time, the concept of integrated energy efficiency services model was introduced. 4,512 energy efficient and green affordable housing constructed. They're all residential ECBC and BE 5-star compliant. The first affordable housing projects to do that, the first to actually comply with residential ECBC, and 7,500 more are on way. So 98% improvement in indoor air quality achieved while achieving energy efficiency in cooling system. A $10 million RAISE pilot project is underway. And RAISE is the retrofit of air conditioning to improve air quality for safety and efficiency. 150,000 super efficient ACs have been procured. 12,000 green AC procured on the GEM platform by public agencies just within the last 6 months of launching it. Which is almost 50 to 60% of all ACs sold on the platform. All this in the last 4 years, we've saved 680 gigawatt hours of energy, which is about 550 tons of CO2 emissions. $300 million of World Bank, ADB, and other funding has been leveraged. So our technical assistance has unlocked this potential, has enabled this money to be used and scaling up energy efficiency programs. One big question, did the energy efficiency narrative change in these 4 years? What did we do about it? Well, even before pandemic, our net zero energy building knowledge series went viral. Over the last 4 years, we've had 50 webinars with 97 experts, over 15,000 participants from 1,000 organizations, 324 cities across 52 countries. Before the pandemic hit, we had done study tours, 153 professionals from 6 study tours of net zero buildings across the country, out of which, not just this, the entire 15,000 and this, 47% were women participants. Our net zero energy building knowledge portal, which was started under the previous Space D program of USAID, was given a new lease now, and the portal saw 13 times the growth with 132,000 visitors. Our Net Zero Energy Building Alliance grew 7 times to 1,727, and we've got 10,000 subscribers across the globe who get our newsletter every month. ECBC, the code that our programs previously helped develop, was now made more accessible. We have a web portal and a Pocket ECBC app. Professional training programs for HVAC engineers to look at energy simulation for right sizing of cooling system was developed. How did we achieve it in these 4 years? Well, the key was partnerships. We worked with ESL in their buildings program, in retrofitting air conditioning as a response to COVID. In fact, here includes Secretary's Ministry of Power's office. The program was launched by the minister, and it introduced a new category of India's most energy efficient air conditioner to the market. And it was spread throughout to offices, banks, ATMs. We worked with National Smart Grid Mission to introduce this whole concept of grid interactive net zero energy building through our ZerO-In dialogues. We worked with BE in developing this Pocket ECBC and the app. We worked with railways to take our previous work further and look at net zero vision, roadmap, and emission strategy. We worked with UN Environment to look at life cycle assessment based sustainable public procurement and launch India's first green room air conditioner on government e-marketplace. We worked with Lucknow Development Authority to develop a vision and roadmap for green energy efficient buildings. And this, and you see our Mr. Indu Shekhar Singh and our VC here, was inaugurated by the Prime Minister just a few months ago as a model for energy efficient and green affordable housing. Nalanda University became one of our key partners from the very beginning to look at energy code compliance, net zero campus design and development from its very inception. TS Redco, our latest partner over the last 1.5 to 2 years, has now gone through the journey of design, procurement, and construction is about to start, and we'll be there with them all the way through post-construction. With IGBC, the net zero energy building system order. Here you see Minister Hardeep Puri launching the net zero rating system that we developed together. We work with US Green Building Council in doing approach and insights to market transformation and especially looking at post-COVID scenarios. We work with Delhi government signing MOUs for net zero buildings. We work with ISHRE on developing new simulation programs. We work with GGGI, World Bank, and ADB to leverage their funding. So all of these partners is what made us successful. So thank you so much, and we really appreciate the journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanmay. Thank you for this great volumes of work that you and your team did for USAID and in helping us in really realizing the vision that we had at the beginning of the program when we were developing the program description. I think MATRI itself, achieved all the targets and indicators for USAID in the very first 2 years of its program. But the commitment that we had for bringing in energy efficiency to a large scale domain continued, and the passion of the EDS team and all our partners together, we continued to, look at challenges, convert them into opportunities, and did not rest even when the pandemic hit us, even during the curfew stages. I'm very proud to say that when everyone was under curfew and lockdown, we along with ESL and EDS, we went ahead, launched the RACE program, which was pertinent to the topic at that time on indoor air quality by replacing the chiller systems. And the first pilots were done with ESL own office, then with the Ministry of Power at the Minister's office and the Secretary's office. And then we launched the MOU and the program with the Minister. And now it's being scaled up into many, many more public buildings. So we continued tackling the challenges. We continued, as I said, converting them into real-time opportunities. And even as the project lead for this program at USAID, when I see this comprehensive presentation made by Tanmay, it makes me not only nostalgic, but also very, very proud. USAID is extremely proud of this partnership, and we hope to continue that, in years to come. So with that, we have now come to the session where we have all our partners, quite a few of our partners at this event. And, we want to share, we want them to share their experience of the market transformation journey with the USAID MATRI program. We will also be releasing and launching new some initiatives, some tools, and some white papers and documents as we go through this. So first, I would like to sort of, start with ESL as our long-standing partner. With ESL, we've had a long journey on several fronts: building energy efficiency, cooling efficiency, electric vehicles, smart meters, possibly every domain that ESL works in, and creating new business opportunities in the form of, indoor air quality, RACE kind of initiatives. ESL as an organization doesn't need an introduction. It's already brought large-scale, clean energy deployment in the mainstream. It's the main implementing agency of the Ministry of Power, and perhaps world's largest public energy service company. So today, what we will be doing is jointly releasing with ESL their chillers efficiency program that MATRI has supported, the chiller efficiency program market research and feasibility study document, and a techno-commercial feasibility tool for chiller replacement. And I will also invite the CEO of ESL, Mr. Arun Kumar Mishra, with whom I've had the pleasure of working not only at ESL, but before in his previous capacity as the director of the National Smart Grid Mission, where we did a lot of work on smart grids. Uh, uh, Mr. Mishra is a veteran in the energy sector, having worked for the public sector unit Power Grid for several years. So before I request you to share your insights on the MATRI program and the ESL's perspective, we would launch this program through a video. So Tanmay, please. Tanmay, unmute yourself. We can't hear. So I would also like to acknowledge Mr. S.P. Garnayak, the Executive Director of ESL, who's also joined us here, with whom we've developed this program. Mishra sir, over to you for your remarks.
Thank you. Thank you, Apurva, and thank you, USAID, and good afternoon to all the fellow panelists. I think the key point here, which I would like to make it, that energy efficiency is, of course, the cornerstone of ESL. And as the name suggests, MATRI is about that MATRI bringing together the two so that we have a shared and better future. and that has been our journey with USAID in terms of energy efficiency market and energy efficiency initiatives. While there have been many, the recent one are RAISE, that is for the indoor air conditioner and air quality, as well as chiller energy efficiency. And the two things which we are doing as the chiller energy efficiency program launch has captured that the market is there and potential is there. So we would like that market to take root. Where we would be more interested and we look forward to continued partnership is enabling more and more service companies to actually be able to go ahead and deploy these efficient product. Now, deploying these efficient product on today, say there will be a whole lot of saving if we replace all of them, but that saving will be for all the future investment and energy and carbon market, which carbon we are doing. However, that replacement is not efficient with reference to the overall carbon net of the earth, because we have already have invested some carbon negative burden by bringing these equipments into the operation as of today. So that's why when we have built this particular program, we have focused on enablement, where there is a synchronization that the recommended period, whenever it's coming to an age, say 12 or 15 years from manufacturer, the consumers can leverage this chiller efficiency program by replacing with a very efficient chiller rather than a chiller which he'll otherwise go, and everyone when he goes for replacement he may or may not have the right information. So this program is aiming at making everyone aware, and that Mr. Kathagat has already captured, that how we reach out, how the ecosystem reaches out to all stakeholders. I look forward to engagement with it at least in every city through their municipality in terms their awareness, their own building plan, or their own assessment of, say, even tomorrow, I'll be rather happy that a discount gives a 10% discount for a net zero or an efficient chiller kind of a building, a tax concession by municipality for the buildings which are much more economically designed in terms of their carbon, in terms of their heat load on the city, because both of them ultimately go into taking a burden on how you make city sustainable. So those are some of the areas where if program continues, we would like to work, and of course we would like to get this partnership extended to, say, hospital association or hotel association or all the building association in terms of, say, users of WeWork kind, who will be looking for efficient and energy efficient chillers and energy efficient buildings. Having said that, what I look forward to further is that even the discoms start looking for the buildings as their low flexible load endpoints. That's an area where as an SGM point we have already worked, and I see the potential of chillers becoming a very big player there for, if not for throughout the day, for some part of the day in the morning and evening when solar is going down, or for that matter when the lighting load is picking up. Having said so, I would again come back and thank USA that we have actually traveled this journey of energy efficiency more often with them than alone, and we would like to continue this journey so that we reach out to more and more people, enable and unlock the markets, not for ESL, because ESL will rather like to unlock the market for all the energy service company. I would like more and more service companies to be enabled, and I'm happy that TS Radco is taking the lead on a state level. But then I would like the same kind of very active, very proactive entities in cities and nooks and corners, and domain leaders like Nalanda University everywhere, because if we are to reach our goal, and the goal as announced by our Honorable PM, we will need more and more hands, and more is better for us. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Arun sir. It's been a tremendous, fantastic journey with ESL over many years. And I need to, I mean, I can't help but acknowledge one more person who may not be in the event today, but Mr. Saurabh Kumar, the ex-vice chairman of ESL, who spearheaded many of these efforts and championed them. But sir, your points all well taken. We will continue our collaboration that we built over many years with ESL to expand to newer territories, to take it to the whole aspect of energy efficiency, integrating it with renewables, the whole net zero concept at a communities and a grid level and a cities level. So very rightly you pointed out chillers and all these things will have a very pertinent role to play in the city context, which will be deliberated upon in our next session, but which we hope to build on under a new program, SARIP, as well. So thank you, sir. With that, we will move to the next part, which is we have done substantial amount of work on sustainable public procurement, and today is the moment when we will be releasing the white paper on advancing green cooling through sustainable public procurement, of which UNEP, United Nations Environment Program, has been a great part of. We've collaborated with them on this, and this white paper provides an approach and insights for integrating sustainability in the public procurement practices. It includes case studies, initiatives, and pilots, which will be especially relevant to countries which are embarking on their own sustainable public procurement journey. We have the pleasure of having Farid Yakar, who leads the sustainable public procurement practice of UN Environment in the headquarters in Geneva. Farid, I will request you now to give your insights into the sustainable public procurement framework that we have developed for the Government of India. Over to you, Farid. Thank you for this, Tanmay. Over to you, Farid.
Thank you so much, Apurva. I'm speaking today on behalf of UNEP, and I'm also replacing my dear colleague Atul Bagai, who heads our India office. We're particularly proud to have engaged over the last 4 years a fruitful partnership with the USAID MAITREE program and its implementing partner EDS. The contribution of MAITREE in terms of technical expertise and understanding of the market was invaluable. We also take the opportunity to thank our colleagues from the United for Efficiency program, who also provided precious technical support. The focus of our collaboration with USAID MAITREE was on green cooling. Cooling in all its forms is responsible for close to 10% of all annual GHG emissions, more than those from air travel and ocean shipping combined. Space cooling represents a significant proportion of the overall GHG emissions and is the single fastest growing consumer of electricity. The demand for cooling is escalating rapidly due to a number of factors: global warming, rising incomes, and growing population mainly. An estimated 3.6 billion
Farid, I think you have frozen. I don't know if that's something I'm experiencing, or is he audible to others?
projected growth will come from the emerging economies. Air conditioner sales in India are growing rapidly at 10%, 15% per year rate. India's cooling-related energy demand from room air conditioners is expected to increase 20-fold by 2050 if much more efficient buildings, air conditioning systems, and refrigerators are not put in place, making India the world's largest energy user for space cooling. This need not be the case, with large savings from better cooling appliances standing at more than 200 large power plants and $30 billion per year for all consumers in India, including government, by 2050. These alarming figures and the promising opportunities of energy efficiency explain why we have joined hands with USAID in contributing to tackling the cooling challenge in India. In 2019, UNEP and MAITREE supported the Ministry of Finance in conducting a prioritization study and preliminary market assessment for the development of SPP criteria for room air conditioners. The study report was presented to the Ministry of Finance and the Task Force on SPP in 2020. Additionally, we did a preliminary market assessment study and recommended SPP criteria for green servicing of air conditioners. And it was mentioned earlier by Tanmay that as a pioneering work, green room air conditioners were launched on the government e-marketplace on 5 June 2021, the World Environment Day. So far, I'm pleased to inform you and to tell you that 12,000 green racks worth USAID dollars 6.8 million have been purchased through GEM. With the encouraging figures of purchase of green racks through GEM, the Ministry of Finance may now consider issuing green racks purchase as a mandatory requirement. We're proud to release today, in partnership with USAID MAITREE, the Advancing Green Cooling Through Sustainable Public Procurement publication. The 56 pages publication provides an approach and insight for integrating sustainability in the public procurement practices. Case studies of programs, initiatives, and pilots in the buildings and space cooling sector are also featured and especially relevant to countries embarking on the SPP journey. We hope to expand and continue the partnership with USAID in future years with a focus on cooling and buildings in the region. Taking our work further, we hope to contribute decisively through SPP to the procurement of net zero energy public buildings in the future. Thanks again, colleagues, for the invitation and for the opportunity to partner with the MATRI program. And again, congratulations for your amazing achievements and beautiful spirit of partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Farid. Thank you for also telling us, this latest figure of the 12,000 ACs, green ACs procured just in a matter of 6 months by public agency. And also the Ministry of Finance is considering now making it mandatory for the public agencies to procure these green air conditioners as part of their procurement practice. That's a big milestone, and we are very proud of this partnership that we could do this work. With that, now we move on to the next release, which is a white paper on grid interactive net zero energy buildings. This has been done in partnership with the National Smart Grid Mission of Ministry of Power, where jointly we seeded a new idea in the of combining buildings as a last mile element of a smart grid of future through a series of ZerO-In dialogues on enabling policies, integrated design, emerging and innovative technologies, and consumer engagement for a grid interactive net zero energy building. And the insights from all these dialogues have resulted in this white paper. Uh, so this establishes the roles of buildings in a smart grid of future and outlines the next steps towards building a grid integrated net zero emission future. We have Atul Bali, the Chief General Manager from the National Smart Grid Mission, who has been, who has been championing this effort through the National Smart Grid Mission and the Ministry of Power. And we hope that this will become an element of the smart grid roadmap for 2030, which Ministry of Power is developing currently. Atulji is again a veteran in the power sector, having worked in the Power Grid, Power Finance Corporation, and several PSUs of the Ministry of Power. Over to you, Atulji. But before that, we will first release this paper, and then I will request Atulji to share his insights. So, Tanmay. Over to you, Atulji.
Yeah, Dhanyawad Purvaji, thank you. And I must appreciate that this conclave also has been very rather enriching for me. And I've gone through I think the net zero campus details and other thing, and the first of its own kind, Nalanda University. And of course, Nalanda University presentation, when I going through, I saw through their motto, the mantra, rather I say the imperishable mantra, that the Shanti mantra that encompasses entirely the whole thing, the wholeness, everything. That has a very deep meaning. And that exactly rather fits in this net zero energy efficient building as such also. So that is the essence of all of, I think, the dialogue which we have gone through. This has been a rather new insight for me as such also. Although NSGM has been associated with the USAID for quite some time, and Apurva was a catalyst in that, I have to admit that. And we started the journey, I think, with the first, instead of documents and white papers at that time, we started with the Ajmer project. And that project rather laid a background with this smart metering and a commercial model of that, a business model of that. And we have gone through that, and now we are implementing 250 million meter large scale smart metering. I think our Secretary Power has given that energy transition and focused on that, but we are going ahead with that. A lot of cooperation may be required in that direction. But coming on to this white paper, of course, we have had nearly 4 dialogues, starting from, I think, 10th December and culminated on 19th. lot of deliberation, lot of very good presentations on technology, on design, and even the metrics which have been developed by, I think, the New Building Institute, if I recollect. A lot more has gone into this white paper. Nearly 67, I think, page document, and I must compliment USAID and, of course, this EDS team under Mr. Tanmeji and Nidhi and all other partners there. They have worked very hard to develop this document. A lot more presentation, I think, a deep way to go. But we are looking forward as NSGM and Ministry of Power is getting into the roadmap in Indian context. And in that context, I had to add that at the moment, as we know, the COP26 target is there. We have to develop nearly 500 gigawatt of non-fossil fuel by 2020. That's our target. And going by the net zero India by 2070 and all that. There is a long way to travel. But of course, at this moment, also going by our this renewable energy leapfrogging what we have done. I think we are on the right path. And going with the building sector at the last mile connectivity. I was just going through the DE report and all that. In that, I think nearly at this moment, we are having this building infrastructure consuming nearly 30% of the annual energy consumption. And going by the building stock, lot more urbanization. So they were anticipating nearly 40% building stock that has to come in next 20 years. But that is yet to be built. So there is a huge opportunity. And of course the cost and sustainability and all that. And what I look forward, I think 3-4 key words in that. And I was just going through the paper and they have summed up very nicely. And there is efficient, smart, connected, and flexible. These are the 4 terms that is going to define our journey ahead. And I look forward that this concept paper and the roadmap what we have gone through, and along with the USAID support, and of course building upon this model and what has been transpired in these 4 dialogues, and this will continue. So definitely we'll build up into this our roadmap, and let's see how we transform into that, and going by this smart metering and the last mile connectivity and the communication and 5G rollout and everything. I think that will be a real concept, and I'm very happy to note that this Nalanda 100% complete net zero campus, and then I think another one of I think Mr. Janaiya's this first super ECBC and grid net zero energy efficient building. So I think we are looking forward to that, and going by the propensity and the opportunity but we are seeing ahead, I think this will be a great journey further, and we look forward to the continuous cooperation with USAID. And of course, I thank Mr. John Smith also, because he was right at the forefront even in the first session and have been through all the dialogues. And I thank all the participants, all the panelists, and all those persons who have contributed in just developing this dialogue and this white paper. I look forward and wish all the best to the entire team. And thank you. NSGM will be aspiring for more fruitful things in future. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, Atulji, for not only giving the context of this paper, but also the background of our partnership with the National Smart Grid Mission, starting with the smart meter journey and moving on to this smart grids of the future with buildings converging into a smart grid. And I hope this paper will lay the foundation for a roadmap 2030 that the Ministry of Power is conceptualizing for a smart grid future. With that, now we will move on to the release of a 1-minute video. There is a 7-minute film that has been made on energy efficient and green affordable housing by MATRI program for Lucknow Development Authority. But we have just trimmed it down to a 1-minute teaser for this particular event. MATRI has facilitated large-scale deployment of green and energy-efficient strategies in Lucknow via the Lucknow Development Authority, and a vision and roadmap for green energy-efficient buildings was developed for them, which resulted in construction of over 4,000 green and efficient affordable houses in Lucknow. But not only that, more are yet to be constructed. The point is that greening and energy efficiency has been incorporated as part of their construction practices. We have Indu Shekhar Singh, the chief engineer who spearheaded this effort in the Lucknow Development Authority. I'll request him to speak after we release this 1-minute capsule of the film. Over to you.
Namaskar. I'm very grateful to be associated with the USAID, MATRI and EDS. उन्हीं की हैंड होल्डिंग की वजह से लखनऊ डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी जैसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इस लेवल पे पहुंची है कि सबसे बड़ी बात है कि प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना जैसे लो कॉस्ट हाउसिंग को हम लोगों ने इतना एनर्जी एफिशिएंट और एनवायरमेंटली सस्टेनेबल बनाया है. दिस इज द ग्रेट अचीवमेंट. और इसके हर मुझे याद है कि शायद हम लोग 3 साल पहले मिले थे, मैडम आप आई थी, मनन सिंह सर थे, तो हम लोग उस समय थोड़ा थोड़ा समझ रहे थे कि कुछ करना चाहते थे एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी के बारे में. देन यू केम एज ए सिल्वर फॉर लखनऊ डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी वे हम लोगों ने एमओयू भी किया है. फ्रॉम दैट डे जो चॉइस ऑफ मटेरियल थी, फ्रॉम द डिजाइन, कैसे हाउ टू ओरिएंट द आवर हाउसेस, वहां से लेके और सिलेक्शन ऑफ मटेरियल, प्लेसिंग ऑफ मटेरियल, कंस्ट्रक्शन टेक्नोलॉजी, कंस्ट्रक्शन मेथड्स, सब कुछ ऐसे आप लोगों के हैंड होल्डिंग से हम लोग करते रहे जिससे आज ये रिजल्ट आप लोगों के सामने है. वी हैव कंस्ट्रक्टेड अराउंड 500 houses and they are ready to be occupied. Due to election it is not possible right now, but in April they will be occupied. And after that we are again making 4600 houses further. और इनकी हाउसेस की क्वालिटी सबने देखी है, एंड दिस इज प्रोबब्ली द इंडियाज बेस्ट प्रधानमंत्री हाउसेस इन टर्म्स ऑफ एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी, environmentally friendliness and cost effectiveness. Our houses are basically 50% of the houses are built out of industrial waste, that is fly ash and wood waste, जिसके हम लोगों ने पूरे स्ट्रक्चर बनाया है, प्लस डोर विंडोज उसी के लगाए हैं. तो ये सब हम जी ने करते गए एंड रिजल्ट इज विद यू. बाकी स्टैटिस्टिक्स तो तन्मय ने हमको दिखाई है की है, एंड विद द कंस्ट्रक्शन प्रैक्टिसेस वी सेव्ड अराउंड 5-6 करोड़ लीटर्स ऑफ वाटर. और वहाँ पे इस टाउनशिप में हम लोग जो फर्दर इसका वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग का, वाटर सेविंग का जो काम कर रहे हैं, नेट जीरो पे, इस कॉलोनी के लिए भी नेट जीरो पे वी आर ट्राइंग टू गो नेट जीरो सॉल्यूशंस. और इसके साथ दिस इज आवर प्लेस टू आवरसेल्फ, ये हम लोगों की है कि जो भी हम काम करेंगे, जो भी नई कॉलोनी डेवलप करेंगे, हम नेट जीरो पे ही करें. और अभी हम एक 650 एकड़ की कॉलोनी डेवलप कर रहे हैं. तो वी हैव ऑलरेडी डिसाइडेड कि विल डेवलप, जैसे मैम सिंह मैम बता रही थी कि नालंदा यूनिवर्सिटी कैंपस उनका नेट जीरो है, तो हमारी कॉलोनी भी नेट जीरो होगी. उसके बाद फर्दर 2000 एकड़, 5000 एकड़ की और जो भी कॉलोनीज आएंगी वो हम नेट जीरो पे ही करेंगे. दिस इज नॉट द क्वेश्चन ऑफ ओनली एनर्जी एनसी, इट इज द सेविंग ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट. हम लोग पानी से लेके हर चीज को बचाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. हम लोग इस विजन पे काम कर रहे हैं, एंड नेचुरली द बिगेस्ट हैंड होल्डिंग इज यू पीपल. थैंक यू.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Indu Shekhar ji.
One number I didn't talk about, but you know, John and a lot of people, the cost of these houses that you just saw, the actual cost is 4.5 lakh rupees. That's like $6,000 per house. And that's the, you know, you get the quality, finish, and the energy efficiency, comfort. That's something that only, you know, with a good engineering mind, with a good design mind and good commitment, that is what is required to bring it all together. So we're very proud of our, you know, this piece of really working on affordable housing. So thank you to LD and Indu Shekhar ji.
मुझे एक
Thank you.
चाहिए.
Yeah. John, you want to say something?
यस,
एक
एक चीज
चाहिए.
मैं और कहूंगा,
Ah,
प्लीज. एक चीज मैं और कहूंगा,
$6,000. That's wonderful. I said I'll take one.
एक चीज और कहूंगा, जस्ट लास्ट वन थिंग. केवल मकान
Good.
बना देना ही, एनर्जी एफिशिएंट और ग्रीन हाउस बना देना ही मेरा एम नहीं है. इट्स सस्टेनेबिलिटी फॉर द लॉन्ग टाइम. इसके लिए हम लोग कर रहे हैं कि वी हैव स्पेयर्ड आवर रूफ उसको खाली कर रखा है and our roof has a potential of 2 megawatts or to produce solar electricity. तो इसका जो मेरा जो मॉडल है, तो we will generate this electricity and not this electricity will not be used by the people, these people, क्योंकि उनके लिए बहुत सी स्कीम्स हैं. इसको we'll sell to electricity to the discoms, और उससे जो हमें पैसा मिलेगा, some part we will take and we'll use that money for the maintenance of the. This is probably the best model of these houses. अगर ऐसा होता है तो जैसे हम लोग देखते हैं कि डब्ल्यूएस मकानों में बाद में मेंटेनेंस नहीं हो पाती है, वो बहुत ही 2-4 साल 10 साल बाद खराब हो जाते हैं. अगर ये मॉडल हमारा सक्सेसफुल हो गया, वी आर रिक्वेस्टिंग आवर चीफ सेक्रेटरी आल्सो हु हैड बीन, दुर्गा शंकर मिश्रा जी भी दिल्ली से ही आए हैं, प्लस सेक्रेटरी पावर आलोक कुमार सर जो है वो हमारे यहाँ से यूपी से ही हैं. तो हम लोग उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कुछ इस पे पॉलिसी बनाएं कि हमें इनका एनर्जी सस्टेनेबिलिटी के साथ साथ इसके मेंटेनेंस का भी किसी तरह पैसा मिले रहेंगे, तो दीज ग्रीन हाउसेज विल बी रिमेन ग्रीन throughout its life. Thank you. This is thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Indu Shekhar ji. I think what we came to you 4 years back with the idea that energy efficiency and greening can be part of even affordable houses, a domain which is normally not considered, demand, from a demand perspective, good enough to be investing in energy efficiency. You and your then Vice Chancellor Prabhu Singh, the first conversation we had, you championed it. It is, even when Prabhu left, it is being championed by your current Vice Chancellor, Vice Chairman, and you particularly have been at the forefront with a passion and zeal to take this across all the construction that Lucknow as a city will witness. And this is being emulated by many more cities even as we speak. So thank you for spearheading this, and we are very, very proud of our partnership. With that, we will move, again to the first of its kind, the first super ECBC and the grid interactive net zero energy building. So while we spoke about a white paper with National Smart Grid Vision, simultaneously what MATRI did was that seeing is believing. So even when the policy dialogue happens on one side, we went on and worked with actual buildings. In this case, the Telangana state, worked with their Telangana State Renewable Energy Development Corporation, TS Redco, to make the first grid design and conceptualize the first grid interactive net zero energy building, not only in India, but we did a lot of research in Asia as well. And globally, there are only a few examples of such buildings across the world. So Telangana is, spearheading this effort. We will just release this, we all have Mr. Jania, the Vice Chairman and the Managing Director of TS Redco, to share his insights. But before that, we just have a small video to take us through this. Over to you for your insights.
Thank you, Apurva and John Smith Stream, Tanmay and other panelists on the dais. And thanks to the USAID, MAITREE and EDS team for providing the hand-holding support as a knowledge partner to us in the construction of first ever grid interactive net zero energy and super ECBC compiled building construction for the TS Redco at Hyderabad. We're happy to share that the project is in good progress as we have achieved another milestone, that is the selection of civil contractor has been finalized yesterday itself. MAITREE team role is very crucial in construction of this building as per the aimed compliance. TS Redco as a state designated agency aiming to take up this initiative in a large scale in the state and requested the support from USAID MAITREE program for conducting the and continuing the support to the TS Redco in achieving the goal of its kind, super ECBC grid interactive net zero energy efficiency building for our office and also in the upcoming projects in the proposed government of Telangana state.
Office building को भी जो है वो
And thank you one and all for giving me this opportunity.
post करते रहेंगे. ठीक है.
Indu Shekhar ji, can you mute yourself, please?
Sorry, thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Jenia, you can continue your remarks.
Yeah, I have completed. Is it not audible to you?
I'm sorry, I was unable to hear because my internet connection became slow at that point. So thank you so much, Mr. Jenia. You've been champion and spearheading this net zero, grid interactive net zero building effort. Many more buildings, Chhattisgarh is already emulating that, and I'm sure many more in future would do the same.
And I request the USAID MAITREE program to continue for all our future programs like retrofitting of government buildings. We are planning for 100 buildings in the coming days, madam.
Sure, Mr. Jenia, we will definitely expand our partnership. We will continue to provide support to TS Redco on this, innovative project. Moving on, we will now be releasing our energy conservation building code web portal app, and we also would like our partners, Indian Green Building Council, with whom we had partnered for development of India's first net zero energy certification. So this particular tool is what we call as a pocket ECBC to basically improve accessibility of energy conservation building code, tools, resources, and other related news on the go. This is a one-stop shop for all building energy codes in India. So Tanmay, can you just, over to you for the release. Thank you, Tanmay. We have K.S. Venkatgiri, the Executive Director of CII Green Building Business Center. Again, a center that was established long time back. John, you are the person who was there at that time with USAID support as the first green building, in the country. And it's only appropriate that we have Giri here, who can talk about moving from that green building to a net zero energy building certification that we developed with IGBC. Over to you, Giri.
Thanks, Apurva. It's a pleasure and privilege to
Giri,
be
one
part
moment.
of
I
this.
have one more person I would like to acknowledge here who was there, who kind of catalyzed, spearheaded, led this effort. We have Padu, Mr. S. Padmanabhan, who is here. I want to recognize him. He's been our mentor, guide in many ways. Padu, thank you so much because you led that foundation of the green building movement in the country. Over to you, Giri.
Absolutely. Well done, Badu.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Apurva. It's a privilege to participate at this program. First of all, before I speak, congratulations to MAITREE. Excellent. The first time I'm seeing the entire progress which has been made in this 4-year program. Congratulations to USAID, the entire USAID team, led by Veena, John Smith-Sreen, Apurva, and your entire team. And congrats to you, Tanmay, and the EDS team for the excellent work which has been done. Very commendable progress. As Apurva said, I'm speaking to you from the Green Business Center. The Green Business Center was one of the first green building established in the country in the year 2003-04. And recently, the building also became the first net zero building in India in the year 2018. And as Tanmay spoke about, we have launched a net zero mission in 2021 with more than 300 organizations which are participating, who have signed up to be part of this net zero campaign. These includes large organizations such as Indian Railways, several developers and large builders in the entire country. And the IGBC is also part of the World GBC mission, net zero mission of 2030 and 2050 targets. It's a privilege to participate in this program. MAITREE, the good work done, congratulations. And whatever agenda you have on the net zero building front, CII and IGBC will be more than glad to partner with you and work with you. This is a large agenda and we need everybody to work together to make this possible. Thank you for this opportunity, Apurva. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Giri, for taking down the memory lane of the CII GBC Center itself. With that, we now come to the final release of the market transformation. I wouldn't call it a report, but a document which shares the insights and learnings of this 4-year program. It's basically a compilation of all the insights, experience that we had through MATRI with our different partners, and also recommends a pathway for future as well. So Tanmay, shall we just release that?
Apurva, you need to unmute yourself.
Just 1 second. Yeah, let me just, I need to share my screen for that.
So basically this, I don't know if you've heard this report or it's like it's a journey of MATRI's experience, insights, and learnings of over 4 years on different aspects of the program with different partners. So we have just put it together in the form of a document, a comprehensive document, which we would release right now. And after this event, we will be circulating all the white papers as well as this particular market transformation insights and experience report to all the participants through the email. But we will also be publishing a hard copy and we will send it across to all our partner institutions. Tanmay, are you ready?
Yeah. I just have to locate it. So here it is.
Thank you, Tanmay. So with that, we have come to the conclusion of the first session of this ZerO-In Conclave. Uh, and I cannot end this without thanking a plethora of partners that MATRI has had over several years. Institutions which have partnered with USAID on this program in bringing energy efficiency into the large-scale domain. But also a lot of other people who have made this, this journey actually not only exhilarating but possible in doing, chartering new territories, coming out of our comfort zones, and all this has been possible because we believe that no single institution with limited resources can achieve this large-scale impact. And as Tanmay had also pointed out initially in his presentations, that how did we do it? It was through partnerships with all the agencies that are not only being represented here today, but many more who could not make it to this event. Also, I must also acknowledge COVID has not been able to dampen the spirit. Most of our team members from EDS, including Tanmay and many of his team members, were down with COVID during this time. The whole of January went in that. Many folks at USAID were down with COVID. Many of our partners, when we spoke to them, were down with COVID. Yet it did not dampen anyone's spirit, and we all converged together today in this particular event to celebrate and see what all we achieved during these 4 years and how can we continue to expand our partnership and work together in future through our new programs as well. So let me begin with the formal vote of thanks first to the Ministry of Power, a bilateral line ministry with whom we have this bilateral program, who's continually guided us because of their vision and leadership, we were able to achieve what we could. And also, they thought that energy efficiency is a cornerstone for the new clean energy transition, as also pointed out by Secretary Power himself. I'm not going in particular order of the importance of any partners. Each one of us, we cherish the partnership. So please do not mind if I, start with one particular partner and end with another. They are equally important to us. Let me begin with the Energy Efficiency Services Limited. Uh, I don't have to really say what ESL has been doing over the years, but as I said, there is one person, not one person that I would like to acknowledge in ESL, but several, their entire team, which worked with the MATRI team, and we could do what we could, and I'm not going to repeat that, but definitely present CEO, Mr. Mishra, Mr. S.P. Garnaik, the executive director, many more of their staff members, but definitely Saurabh Kumar, the ex-vice chairman of ESL, who was continuously with us on this journey. We have Bureau of Energy Efficiency for the energy efficiency mission and vision and also for driving ECBC as the major policy driver for energy efficient construction in the country, for partnering with us to support them on ECBC implementation at the state level, at the city level. For United Nations Environment Program, for their leadership on the sustainable public procurement work with the Ministry of Finance and collaborating with us so that we could provide our technical services to this concept of sustainable public procurement. To Lucknow Development Authority for mainstreaming energy efficiency and greening into an uncharted territory, which is an affordable housing sector, elevating it to the level of the Prime Minister of the country, and then being the champions for green, energy efficient and affordable housing for the other cities as well. The Global Green Growth Institute, GGGI, with whom we worked on making rural housing green and energy efficient for more than 30 million rural houses, and that with the Ministry of Rural Development. For TS Redco, for the design, for allowing us, or for sort of collaborating with us to support the vision, setting the vision, and then supporting the design and the construction of their first grid interactive net zero energy building in the country, in the region. Nalanda University, their leadership, particularly the Vice Chancellor, Professor Singh, and the entire team for realizing this, for allowing us first to set a vision for a net zero energy campus, and then incorporating that as part of their huge campus, which has become a kind of a model example for other campuses to follow. I would also like to acknowledge Indian Railways, which worked with us, or rather we were able to provide some sort of a technical support to Indian Railways for incorporating a net zero vision as part of their station redevelopment work. And we continue to expand our partnership with Indian Railways, not only for energy efficiency, but for renewables and the entire net zero emission mission that they are working on. The Delhi Government Energy Efficiency and Renewable Management Department, with them we signed on MOUs for making more net zero energy buildings in the state. I may be forgetting some of the partners, particularly, ADB, World Bank, who worked with us diligently in, as they were preparing for the line of credits to organizations like ESL, and, their milestones and their DLIs were set with, with sitting with USAID in a room and giving us, having that trust on us that if USAID is with a partner like ESL, then they have the comfort that their DLIs or their milestones would be achieved by the partner because of our technical support. And that's how we were able to leverage the line of credits and the funds that ADB and World Bank brought. I may have missed a few. I hope I haven't. But to all our partners, perhaps they were, for example, yes, I remember now the US Green Building Council. We did a lot of market transformation studies with them. We also worked with IGBC as to have the net zero energy rating system come into place. We worked with ISHRE, which is the Indian Society of Heating, Refrigerating and Air Conditioning Engineers, for institutionalizing capacity building courses for the air conditioning practitioners. The list continues. But I would, last but not the least, we would also like to, I'm quite humbled when I say this, but it's been a very exciting, very challenging, but a really exhilarating journey with our implementing partners, Environmental Design Solutions, headed by Tanmay Thathagat and Anamika Prasad. Both you have seen from all the partners and the work that's been done speaks volumes of the experience and expertise they brought to this program, which helped us with very limited resources achieve much more than what MATRI actually set out in the beginning. As I said earlier, we would have binded up the program if we only cared about the indicators and the targets that the program had for USAID. But we went on continuously chartering new territories, seeding new thoughts, bringing in new narratives by partnering with different agencies and getting in the expertise of EDS into this foray. I don't have the list of all the people who have worked very diligently. The whole nights in the past few weeks have gone into developing these presentations, videos, and a host of other things. But I must take a few names which I remember on top of my head. There are a lot of names I may miss in the EDS team, which works behind the scenes and are not very visible. But of course, Tanmay, Anamika, Nidhi, Nabil, Mohit, Piyush, Deepa, Abhishek, Sanjay, Lakshmi, Anshuman, many more. And there's one person who actually started with us, is not more with anymore with the EDS team, Aarti also, I would like to acknowledge. So a big thank you to everyone, to all my USAID leadership, which allowed us to, our technicals, our support teams within the USAID, my own office directors in my office, the mission front office, Veena, all her predecessors, the deputy mission director. We were allowed to do this work because we had a team which trusted us and believed in us. So a big, big thank you for all our partners, for the implementing partner, and everyone who was there with us through the MATRI journey. And we hope to continue to build on this momentum that MATRI has built through our new program, SARE, as we go ahead. So thank you very much. Namaskar.